Hi, everyone. Welcome to our workshop. My name is Razan. I'm from DIDI. Today's workshop will be held by Professor Sejal Patel. Before we begin, we're just going to show a short video and then we will go ahead.
Creativity, and out of the ordinary. We live in interesting times. We live in a world that's constantly asking questions, that's constantly changing. In a world where blockchain and robots will be the norm, where 85% of tomorrow's jobs don't exist yet, where being multi-skilled is not just celebrated, but essential. At Dubai Institute of Design and Innovation, we believe that we need to prepare you for the future, to teach you skills that will power your tomorrow. Today, design matters more than ever. But how can design help, you may ask? We combine disciplines so you become well-rounded. From product design, multimedia design, fashion design, strategic design management, it's where you will learn how to merge different design disciplines. Presenting a 4-year Bachelor of Design degree in collaboration with MIT and Parsons' new School of Design. DIDI, not just another design university.
All right, Sejal, over to you. Sejal, are you there?
Hello. Hi, everyone. So before we start, there's just a few things we want you to sign up for. So I'm just going to share my screen. Let's see. So has everyone been able to make a open processing account and a Pinterest account? This will be very important for the workshop today. Maybe if you haven't, I'll just give you another 3 minutes to sign up. And if you need access to the links or the documents, I think Hussein just shared a link in the chat. So just follow the link and you'll get access to these slides and the links to what we'll be doing today. Okay, so we'll just get started. If anyone has any questions, please just feel free to speak up. Today, I'll just start sharing the slides. Okay, so today the workshop I'll be giving is called Islamic Geometric Patterns Remixed. And my name is Sejal Patel, and I'm a professor at DIDI. And today's workshop is looking at how we can use certain design procedures that have been developed in the past in architecture and aesthetics, and how we can translate that through digital technologies to generate new types of designs. So what are Islamic geometric patterns? They're aesthetic motifs that are based on the repetition of geometric shapes. And you find these types of patterns all throughout the Islamic world as both part of the religious and daily architecture throughout history. And I wonder if does anyone know why these types of patterns are so prevalent in Islamic culture? If anyone is willing to speak up. Can anyone guess? Well, the reason why is because it's not allowed to convey pictures of people, the human form in the arts, so or of the divine. So what happened is this whole art form originated as a way of evoking the infinite. And as you can see in this quote, using the repetition of shapes, they're able to create a very recognizable aesthetic. And so today, we're going to be inspired by these types of patterns that were created before. And using computer code, we're going to write simple programs to take the kind of logic of these patterns to generate new types of patterns based on images that we like to use. So why do we study IGP in design? I'm going to ask a few questions. So I'm hoping people will be brave enough, someone will be brave enough to answer these questions. So why do we study these types of patterns in design? So this is my first hint. Can someone share an idea of like why we would study these types of patterns in design? Ishal, do you wanna give an answer? Okay, so I guess everyone's very shy. So one reason is using these by representing a design as a set of rules and logic, you're able to develop a variety of options based on a kind of central motif. So this image on the right of airplanes is looking at the same design, but because it's represented as a set of rules, so each plane must have two wings, they must have a body, it must have a tail, right? But within those kind of constraints, there's also room for variation, and there's rules that govern how those variations can be achieved. So here's like the second reason why studying these types of systems is really interesting for design. And so this one, it's using a kind of set of rules to understand the growth of plants. And so we can actually use these sorts of logics to understand the world around us and represent it in a new way. And so here, this image is talking about rules around plant growth and how different types of plants are branching and the kind of angles between different branches and leaves. And so actually using these types of systems, people have studied the growth of plants in the natural world and then are able to use them to generate plants in things like video games or in animations. And so then the final reason why we were looking at this, here's an example of digital. So if we think of our digital design tools, it's very rule-based. And so when we're designing with a computer, there's really a power to being able to represent a design as a set of rules or a sequence of instructions, because that's how information is organized on the computer. So this image is just talking about a set of procedures that are used to generate different types of buildings for architecture. And so you can set certain rules around different typologies and how different elements come together to create a variety of different types of buildings. Okay, so that's just to kind of expand your mind about like why we're talking about this today and why it's still very relevant to study Islamic geometric patterns. And so I just wanted to share this one topic that's called shape grammar. And so Islamic geometric patterns is something that's been studied in this idea of shape grammar, which looks at different rules to generate different types of shapes. And this is one topic. And so you can see here, here's an example of a Islamic geometric pattern that has to do with different types of rules and how it's created. So one is reflection or tiling. Here's another example where it's looking at a set of like rotation rules. So if you create a shape, how can it be rotated and copied to make a very intricate pattern? And I think also if you look at the details, actually the kind of parts that actually make up the pattern are very simple and straightforward, but it's through the repetition of rules and how it's put together. That's how the intricate pattern is created. So here, this slide is just talking about some of the rules that we'll be playing with today that make up the sort of language or grammar of these Islamic geometric patterns. So reflection, taking an image or a graphic and reflecting it. Rotations, arrays, which is copying an element in a grid, whereas rotation is copying an element around a central point. And then the one in the bottom right is talking about subtraction. So combining two patterns together on top, like superimposing them on top of each other to generate something new. That is also another rule that is applied. So this quote's just talking about how elaborate these patterns are, that they all can be constructed historically just using very simple tools. So when we generate our patterns using code, we're going to use very simple programs to create these patterns. And you'll see very soon what this looks like. Here's another slide that is looking at the construction of different patterns. So you can see, if you just look at the top left graphic, where you see this almost like a kind of like flower pattern, that it's created through just the intersection of circles that have been like rotated about a point. And then you can see that as new elements are copied or superimposed, it begins to become more intricate. So here's just an example of how these rules can be applied and how they can be scaled up. Okay, so I hope that was a good introduction for everyone. Again, don't be shy to speak up if you have any questions, or write in the chat. If you want, you can write in the chat if you have a question. But I guess we'll get right to the workshop. So hopefully at this point, everyone has made an open processing account. So let me just explain about today. So today, for the purposes of the workshop, we're going to be using a computer programming language called P5.js, which is used to create art and graphics and designs on the web. So to create different types of patterns for web-based applications. And what open processing is, I'll just open the main website. It allows you to easily create codes online and run them. So it means that you don't have to install anything on your computer. Okay. So, so let's see. So yeah, so hopefully by this point, if you have an account, and if you could follow the link that we provided. So earlier, if you are able to access these slides, maybe Hussein, you can add this link in the chat. But what you need to do is you need to open this link that says example code. Okay, and so if you follow this link, it's going to open up the code that we're going to be working on. So I'll just give everyone a minute to get to this point. Okay, so hopefully everyone's at this point. Maybe when you open the code, it didn't look like this. It might look, let's see. Oh, wait, hold on one sec. Okay, yeah, so maybe when you open this file, it might look something like this. It might look like this one screen with an image. But to get to the part with the code, what you need to do is there's a, and I hope you can see this, there's this button that has 2 brackets and a backslash, and you need to click on that. Okay, and that will bring up the code. And what we want, so once you do that, what we want to do is we want to be able to see our code and the result of our code at the same time. And the way we can do that is that there's 3 buttons here, and it brings up options. Okay, so yeah, so if you go to the editor and where it says layout, click on the one that is on the right, and so that will bring up the visual panel on the side. And so the other thing you can see is, so we can write code on the left-hand side, and on the right it's visualizing the result. To run the code, you can press this button that says play, and it will execute the program, okay? Okay, so is everyone at this stage? Is anyone totally lost?
Is it fine if you can explain after the 3 dots, what should we do?
Okay, so 3 dots, you go to editor, and where it says layout, click on the one that's on the button that's on the right side, where it shows 2 panels side by side.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, so the next step, and if you need to check again, all these steps, they're in the slides that I provided. It explains all of this. Okay, so the next step, what we want to do is, everyone, I want you to copy this code, to make a copy of this code that you're going to edit, and it's going to be on your own account on Open Processing. And so the way to do that is, if you see here on the top of the toolbar, there is this button that looks like has 3 circles attached with lines. What this is, it's called forking your code. And so I want you to click on that, and I want you to click on Create Fork in the bottom right corner. And so what this is going to do, it's going to create a copy of the code, but it's going to be on your account. Okay, so I'll give everyone just a minute to do this, to get to this point. And if anyone is lost or has questions, please just speak up.
Sejal, we have some participants that want you to explain again, just towards the last bit.
On how to fork the code?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you get to this point where you open the example file and you've set up your display like this, in the top right corner, there's this button that looks like 3 circles attached with lines. So you just click on that and you're going to make a fork of the code. So once you do that, it will open up this option, and then you're going to click on Create Fork, and this will open a new file. That's a copy. So I'll just give maybe another minute for everyone to get to this point. Hi now, Sheen. Can you let me know where you're getting stuck? Oh, that's okay. Just, you can press here, this button in the top center. It will run the code. If you didn't press it yet, it may not come out. Don't worry about that yet. Okay. Okay, I see Ali's comment. I can't find the 3 circles. Are you able to get to this point where you have the have the example code open? It's, if everyone's looking for it, if you look at the top of the toolbar, if you can see my mouse, it looks like here, right here, where it says like, looks like these 3 circles attached with lines. Can you see that? So yeah, exactly. Next to the chat icon, this one, and then where it says Create Fork, click on this. It may not be there if you haven't signed into Open Processing yet. Okay, so just to go through things again. Once you open the example code, just let me get back to it. Your screen might look something like this. And so once you open the example code, what I want you to do is click on the button that looks like 2 brackets with a backslash, and that will bring up your code. And so once you have the code open, I just want you to set up the view so you can see the code and the result. And so the way we set up the UI or the interface is we click on these 3 dots on the right-hand side, which bring up these options. And then you can navigate over to where it says editor. And then where it says layout, click on the second option. So that brings up the panel on the right-hand side. And then so once you have this set up, go to this button that's next to the chat button and click on where it says create fork. Okay. And if you need all of these steps, they're in the slides. And so you can follow on the slides too. Okay. I think most people have been able to fork the code. So I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so so now that we have everything set up, hopefully we're all ready to go. And so the first step is to get some images that we're going to use to create our pattern. There's going to be 3 steps to our procedure. The first is we're going to collect some images, and the second is we're going to write an algorithm, and the third is we're going to generate patterns. And we should be able to do this very quickly. So I want everyone to find some images that are square in shape. So maybe you can look online or find on your computer. Try to find 2 or 3 images that we can use to make up our pattern. So I'll give everyone 3 minutes to do this.
Anything of square shape?
Pardon?
Anything
Hello?
of square shape?
Yeah, try to use a square shaped image.
So should there be a picture in that, or it should be just a sketch, like an outline or something?
I'll show you the images I chose. It can really be, it can be anything you want. So these were the images I chose. Let's see.
So any Google image basically, which should be square.
Yeah, so like maybe you can look up like Instagram image is a good one because Instagram is square. So these I just did like 3 images, one of Mario, one of the moon, and one of some trees, but it can really be anything you want. What's really important too though is that you name them nicely. So if it has when you download it, if it has a very complicated name, just try to rename it to a simple name, like moon or image 1. Something that is simple. So like, yeah. So you can just look on Google. Maybe I can show you an example of like finding some images.
Is it fine with the square shaped pillow?
Pardon?
Is it fine to take a square shaped pillow?
Yeah, try to keep the image as square, like a square shape. So, you know, maybe like one thing maybe you could say like desert Instagram. And this will bring up a lot of images that have this kind of square shape. Or not, like here, or like here, this is a nice one. So you can just click on this and just save it. It's that simple. So just, yeah.
Sir,
If
can
it's
you
not
explain
square, say,
again?
Pardon?
Can you explain again?
Getting the image? Oh.
Like, can you explain again? Because I was helping my sister in a
Okay.
technical problem.
All right. Which part are you on?
After the part when you create the fork.
Oh, after you create the fork, you just need to find 2 or 3 images that are square that you want to use in your pattern. So you can just find it on Google.
Like, what should I do after that?
We haven't gotten to the next part. I'm just giving everyone time to find some images. So maybe I'll just give maybe 20 more seconds and then I will go to the next part.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want to load your images, what you can do, if you have your images, click on these 3 dots, and where it says Files, you can upload files you want to use in your code here. And so what you should do is, okay, once you have your files ready on your computer, you can either click and drag or you can select them. And you can see that once you open it on your computer desktop and click on it, it will upload into this toolbar, right? And so let's see. Sorry, open the wrong one. Okay, so where it says files here, I'll just do it again. So you can, I'm opening this image called desert.jpg. And if I want it to come up, I can type on the code on the left, if you type the name of your file and press the run button, which is in the top center, it should come up. You see? So there's 2 parts of this. One is uploading your image on the right-hand side, and then the second part is here where it says link 1 and link 2, renaming what's in these quotations to your file name. Okay, so is anyone having problems with this? This should be pretty easy. It's not meant to trick you or anything. Okay, so maybe I'll give maybe another minute to do this, and then I'll go to the next part where we actually start making the pattern.
What should we do after the files? Selecting it?
Okay, so once you uploaded the file, here on your code, on the right, like left-hand side, where it says link 1 and link 2, I want you to rename these values so that it's the same as the file name. So my file name is called desert.jpg, and so I rename this to desert.jpg. If I want to get the moon image to come up, I can just type moon.jpg, and that you can see the moon now. So for our pattern, we'll just be using two images. Okay, so Ishil is asking how to add the pattern. Are you able to upload the file?
How do you upload the file?
Okay, so when you get to your screen where it says these 3 dots, which is the options, you click on it, and then you're going to navigate to the tab that's the Files tab. And you can either drop your images here, or you can select it and upload it from your computer. And so, okay, so I added another image called cat ears. And so if I want to see this image, you could just highlight the name and copy it. And on the left-hand side in your code, just copy and paste it there. And then to run the code, there's this button in the top center, and you just click on it, and the image will come up. Okay, so let's get to the, if you're still having problems with this part, I'll come back, but let's get to the next part, and then I can come back and help everyone. You know, all the instructions are in the slides too, if you get lost. Okay, so the second part is creating an algorithm. And so I just want to ask, can anyone tell me what is an algorithm and what that has to do with a computer program? Can anyone tell me?
Set of instructions.
Excuse me, can I say?
Yeah. We heard set of instructions. What else?
An algorithm is a set of instructions that you tell a computer to complete a task.
Yeah. What's another example of an algorithm in daily life? What are some examples of algorithms? Well, a good analogy that we can all think about and understand is recipes. So when you are doing, you're making something in the kitchen, what you get is a series of instructions that you complete in an order that creates the lasagna, right? And what's very important about an algorithm or a recipe is the sequence of the steps, right? So for instance, it's very important in this lasagna, right, that the first step is to heat up the oven. You wouldn't bake your lasagna and then heat the oven. So it's very important the sequence. And when you change the sequence, the result will be very different. Okay, and then the other thing too is that in an algorithm, that the steps are very clear and precise what you need to do at each step. And so that's what we'll be doing to create our patterns. So let's start programming. And so where we're going to start editing our code is here where it says algorithm. We're going to begin to type things here, different instructions and steps. And we're going to set out a sequence of steps that's going to create the pattern. I'm going to change the image that I'll use. I really like this raccoon Mario image. Maybe I'll use like the tree as my secondary image. So we'll just use this as the starting point. So the first rule or instruction that we're going to give is going to look at reflections. So what you can do in the algorithm, you can type the word horizontal with 2 brackets, and if you run the code, it's going to reflect your image horizontally. So everyone try that. Okay. You can also type the word, okay, so once you try horizontal, you can also try writing the word vertical. And it will mirror your image vertically. Does everyone see that? Okay, I'm getting the question about changing the images. To change the image, you have to see here where it says link 1, link 2. You have to change the file name here to whatever the name of your file is that you uploaded. Okay, so just getting back to the algorithm. So we tried horizontal, we tried vertical, but we can also combine them together. So we could say vertical, and then another line, we can type horizontal, and it creates this symmetrical graphic. You can also try changing the order. So there's one, it looks a certain way. If it's vertical, then horizontal, but if you do horizontal, then vertical, it will have a different result. Or maybe not in this case, actually. Let's see. Okay, no, actually it looks the same. It's the same result. There's another option too. So you could also type diagonal. And it will mirror your image. I spelled it wrong. Diagonal. Okay. So you can type diagonal. And it will mirror it on an angle. Okay, so I want you to play. Just try out these three rules: horizontal, diagonal, and vertical, and just see what kind of results you can get with that. And then once you do that, I'll give maybe a minute. I'll give you a minute, and then we can move to the next set of rules that you can give for your code. Okay, so I'll just show the next step, and this is going to look at how can we play with rotations, and also like how can you tile a pattern. And so there's two more functions I can show you. So the first is called array, and you can type it like this, where the numbers inside these brackets, this is the number of times that's repeated in the X and Y axis. So if we run this code, you can see here that the pattern is created, it's creating a 2x2 pattern. The other one you could try, so let's not try it. So you can try array. You could also try rotation. And try running that. Maybe I'll use a different number. So maybe I put 12. So what this does is that it will take your pattern and rotate it around a central point 12 times. So you can play with these values too. So it could be 12, you could try 8, and you get different types of results. You can also combine them together. So you could try rotate, then array. You get a pattern. You can also change the order. So you could start with a rotation, So you could start with a rotation and then diagonal, horizontal, vertical, then array, and then see a different type of result. So just take some time, play with these values. So you can try different, using different, these are called parameters, to change how this rule is applied. You could even say, okay, for array, right now it's 2 by 4, or 2 by 2, and what if it's like 1 by 4? As a different result. So just play around with these different rules and see what kind of patterns you can create. And make sure, so if you want to run your code, you need to press the run button that looks like this circle with the arrow on it. And maybe if you type something incorrectly, there might be an error, and that will show up down here where there's this is called the console. And if there's an error, a little message would appear here. So for instance, let's say I didn't put 2 quotations when I was entering the file name, and I try to run the code. You can see here, the error message comes up. So it will tell you what line the problem is. It says line 14. And so it's very important that everything you write is precisely how I'm showing you. If there's a mistake in how things are spelled, the code won't run. You can also change what's the image. So maybe instead of the raccoon, maybe I'm bored with that. Maybe I can use my tree image. We can see what's the result. Okay. Adiba, if you want to save your program, you need to sign in to open processing. Okay, is anyone else having problems? I can try to help or go over things again. The other thing too is what you could try to do is you could actually use the same rule multiple times. So maybe I do rotation diagonal 3 times, and each time I change the parameter in rotation. Let's see how that looks like. So maybe another minute, and then we'll go to the next. We'll go to the next step.
Excuse me?
Whoa, that's awesome. Yeah.
Like when at first I wrote horizontal, so when I click the play button, it says line 19 horizontal is not defined.
Oh yeah, so it's very important that you spell it properly. So you can see, yeah, just like check the spelling. It's also very important. It has these 2 brackets at the end. These two brackets, they tell the computer that it's a function to run the horizontal function. Okay, so I'll just show the next step, and I'll just keep moving ahead. And then if you have questions, we can keep going back to it. So the next thing I want to show you is merge. And so with merge, you can combine both of your images together. Now, Manus is asking why are the pictures very pixelated? It's just for speed. And so in the end, if you want to change the resolution, if you see in line 9 where it says res, you can change this value. So right now it's 150 pixels by 150 pixels. We can increase this. We could try like say 300. It just takes a little bit longer to run the code. But feel free to change that value. Okay, so you could try merge. So try merge now. So try merge with whatever you're creating. So you can try merge. Maybe we try diagonal. You could try array. And you can begin to combine the images together to create new types of patterns. Maybe rotate. Horizontal. Maybe array again. Ooh. So I'm just seeing Preethi's comment. If it says not defined, that means there's an error and that something is misspelled. So just double check how things are spelled and that it should look like how I spelt it in the code. Okay, so you can see here now with merge, we're getting like really interesting results. So I'll just give everyone maybe 30 more seconds and I'll show the final rule. Or maybe I can just show it now, which is called delete. Right. Sorry. Okay, so people are having some problems. Let me get back to you. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay, so this is the final rule. It's called deletion. And so what this will do, it will reduce the number of colors in your pattern. So if I put deletion 5, it will take the image and just recreate it just using 5 colors. So this is one way you could abstract your image. So let's see how that looks like. Okay, so you can see here's my pattern. Okay, so we're almost done. Okay, so say I really like this pattern. What you can do in the settings where it says save file, instead of false, you can type true. And what this means, and after the code runs, it will download it to your desktop. So if I play this now again, if I run the code again, it just takes some time. So when it downloads, you'll be able to open it on your computer. Okay, so now, yeah, so you can see here now I can open the code on my computer and you can save it. Okay, so some people are having problems. I guess, okay, so the first thing, if you're having a problem with your code, I'm just set these back, okay, before I get back to it. So I'm just gonna set save file to false and then res to 150, just so it's easier and quicker to test things out. So, okay, if there's an error with your code, so I'm just gonna purposely make an error here where I had a problem with the file name. So if I run the code, you can see here at the bottom, it says my sketch line 14, syntax error, invalid or unexpected token. So that just thinks something is typed incorrectly in line 14. So this is really good because you know, okay, there's a problem with line 14, and then you just need to double check the spelling and how you've typed everything. So when you put your file name, it's very important that it's in quotation marks and it's typed exactly the same as how you name the file on the right-hand side. Another error might be maybe you spelled something wrong. So instead of merge, maybe I put March, and I try to run my code. And so what happens here, it says error, line 19, uncaught reference area error, March is not defined. So when it says it's not defined, that means that there is no rule called March and that you spelled it wrong. So maybe if you just fix it to merge, then it will work. So try that. If you're having errors, try to solve the error like this. Okay, so everyone just experiment, like try different combinations of rules. And once you have a result you really like, I would just ask that everyone, if you could, I sent a link out to the Pinterest board. And so if you follow this link, I can share this link again in the chat. Join this Pinterest board and then submit your design. All right, how do I do this again? So add your design to this board. So wait. Yeah, so you can create a pin and add your image to this exhibition of patterns that we've created. And so, okay, so just a reminder, if you want to save your image, what you can do is here where it says save file, instead of false, set that to true. And see how it's like a little bit blurry here? Where it says res, instead of 150, you can increase that number. Maybe we want 300 or a bigger number, and it will increase the resolution. Okay, so this is my result. Maybe I'll try higher resolution. Yeah, so once you have your image, you can add it to your Pinterest board. So I'm just going to create a pin, and you can click and drop your image. So I'm going to call this like IGP, and then you can just save it, and then we're done. Okay, so someone's asking about merge, Adiba. So for merge, I'm just going to set things back. So merge, what it does is that it will just take the two images and create them side by side, so it's split down the middle. And so from there, then you can begin to transform your pattern. But what's interesting is you could merge again. So you could use merge many times. Or maybe, okay, wait. So you could copy this a bunch of times and see how it looks like. You can see that it's repeated. Do you see that?
Sir, can you tell how to download this again?
Okay, so if you want to download the image, do you see in line 10 where it says save file? Here? Line 10?
Yeah.
Instead of false, type true.
Okay, sir.
And then it will automatically download the image to your computer, to desktop. Is there any other questions? So maybe let's just spend time. So maybe once you are able to upload one to Pinterest, you can go back and create another one and experiment for another 10 minutes.
So could you show me your
Sir?
merge part?
Yeah. There's a question?
Sir, could you show me your merge part? The entire whole part.
The code?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. You can try your own too. Like you could play with the numbers. Can we upload to PNG format?
Sir?
Yes, it's possible. You don't have to use JPEG. You could use a PNG as your image. Another question?
Sir, when I was like, sir, when I clicked the play button, my image was not showing.
Was there an error?
No, it was perfectly fine.
Can you copy and paste this part in the algorithm? Can you copy and paste that into the chat?
Okay.
Are you sharing the code? Oh, do you see where it says deletion? You need to put a number there. So you should put like deletion 10. Because the number, that's the number of colors that will be in the image. So if you don't put a number in, it will have no colors, so no image. Okay, let me try. Okay, so each I'll try your code. Let's see. Vertical. Okay. Michelle, there's a problem with using diagonal and rotate. I just noticed. Actually, no, I don't know. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. It's not rotate, you have to type rotation. You see? Rotate is another function. Rotation is the one we want to use. Okay, so you could try something like. This one's kind of cool. Okay, so any other questions? I'm very excited to see everyone's results. Maybe we just give another 5 minutes and then we can wrap up. Samira, so this is to answer Samira's question. If you want to save as a JPEG or a PNG, you can edit the line here, line 76. Instead of save the file name as image JPEG, you could put image.png and we'll save a PNG file. And if you want to make it black and white, you could add this line in line 73. You can type filter gray, and it will make it grayscale. But this is, you don't need to do this. This is just if you want to go in more detail. That's how you get a grayscale result. Okay, so any other questions?
Could you explain how to save it again?
Save again. Okay, so to save in line 10, where it says save file, var save file equals false, instead of false, you can type true. And if you want to change the resolution, in line 9, instead of, it started at 100, instead of 100, you could put a bigger number, like you could put 600. It'll save a bigger image.
In mine's, safer is already true.
It's true? Then it should, is there any error that comes up?
No.
Where, are you using Windows or a Mac?
I'm using Windows.
It should download here to your into the bottom of your browser. I'm not sure what your like maybe you have some special settings. Are you sure it says true? Save file true?
Yes, it already says true.
Hmm. Did you check your downloads folder?
Okay, I'll check that.
Okay. Yeah, so it's open source. I'm just responding to Samira's question. So you've copied this code. Like if you go to your if you open your account on Open Processing, you can look at all the sketches you've created. And so the file that you're working on, it's actually saved to your account. So you can come back and work on it anytime you want. So these are some of the things I've come up with, but yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll be online, but this concludes the workshop. So if anyone has an image they want to share, does anyone want to share what they created? Maybe I can look on the Pinterest. Okay, so these are, I'm starting to see some results. Yeah, that's pretty cool. This is really neat. Yeah, it's really exciting. Great work. Okay. Can we merge more than 2 images? Wow. This is really nice. Let's see other ones. This is great. Very cool. Yeah, some great work. I will like it. Wow. Okay. Adiba, if you're still having problems saving it, you can do the manual way, which is just, you can just right click on the image in the screen and just save image as. And that should also work.
Sir, how do I like send my image to your Pinterest?
To where? To Pinterest.
Your Pinterest.
Okay. Did you get the link to Pinterest?
Yes.
Okay, so.
And I'm on your board right now.
Okay, awesome. So what you could do, see this plus on the right-hand side? Just click on that, and you go create pin. And here you can add your image.
Sorry, can you show again?
Yeah. So on the this right-hand side, there's a plus sign here. You click on that and click on pin. And then you can add your image here. And yeah, you just have to add a name to your image, and then you can click on save.
I tried the other method too. It's not working. I cannot save it.
Pardon? You can't save.
Yes, I can't save.
Is anyone else having a similar problem? It can help. It might have to do with the settings on your computer. Any more results? If you created one and uploaded, try doing another. Try using different images. Try different rules.
Sir, after I save it, like save image as, where will it be on my desktop?
I think wherever you have downloads, your downloads.
It's not in the downloads.
It just depends, like wherever you save it. So if I go save image as, can you click on it? Can you see it? For me, I can see it at the bottom of the screen.
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna play with another idea. So let's try taking a pattern that we created and then adding it back into the code. So let's try this orange pattern. I really like this, so I'm gonna use this as an input. And thank you, M, who created this. So what you can try is like, okay, using the oranges, what if you uses that as a input? Can you create something even more complex, all right, that has more complexity?
Sir, can you check my design on open processing?
Yeah. Which one? Which one is yours? Can you tell me?
I'm not able to share it on Pinterest.
Did you sign up for Pinterest?
Yes.
Did you try to add the pin? Here? Did you create a pin?
Yes.
Create a pin? And you put save?
Yes.
So why is it's not showing up?
No, like I can't find it on my computer.
You can't find your image.
Yes.
Ah, I can't help you. I can't help you with that. Is it at the bottom, like your downloads at the bottom of your browser, like on mine? You can just click and drag it. So I like this one. This one I just created. I used an image that I generated and then fed it back into the pattern. Maybe I'll add that one. Okay, so if you want to save on Pinterest, I'll explain one more time. If you follow the link to Pinterest, if you open Pinterest, yeah, so if you go to the board, using the link, you can see that on the right-hand side, there's a plus button. So you can click on that, and you can create a pin. And then here you add your image in. You can add your image. It will upload, and then you just add a name, and you can save it. Okay, so everyone, I think we'll wrap up. If you have any questions, just feel free to, you can send me an email after the session. If you want to keep working on it over the next few days and share on Pinterest, that would be also very welcome. But I just want to thank everyone who participated and hope everyone has a great day. Razan, do you want to add anything from your side?
We have a bunch of workshops coming up, so you're welcome to sign up for the future ones if you're interested. Otherwise, you can reach out to us over email and for any questions, or if you want to get in touch with Sage.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day. Bye.
Sir, I added mine on Pinterest.
Amazing. I'm excited to look at it. Okay, bye everyone.